Hello there, hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Jim. We talk about, listen to, and do all sorts of things music-y. I'm afraid today I am talking about it. I know we've got a lot of music to listen to, but I've got one of those days where I just haven't really got the time, I'm afraid, to be able to sit down and do a properly good reaction video, which is what I really want to do. But hopefully tomorrow I'll go back to it. But what I have got is something I've been thinking about for a few days. On Sunday, Scot over at the Prog Corner did his usual Sunday afternoon live stream, and it's always good value, great fun to watch. Been on it a couple of times. Really wished I'd been on this one because, man alive, was this a subject that I love. And he had some great guests on there, 6 of them on the panel. There's probably wasn't room for any more, but man alive, I wish I'd been on that because they were talking about the 10 greatest prog metal albums in history. Now, I don't know that I can list the 10 greatest prog metal albums in history, but what I can do is give you my favourite prog metal albums that I've ever heard. So up to now, in my limited experience of what I've been listening to, which is actually quite broad now, I think, so having done this for 6.5 years, I've got a few honourable mentions as well. So this is kind of the direction that the guys all went on this. They had their main body of 10 albums, but also they had some honourable mentions, things that nearly made the cut but didn't quite. So I'm going to quickly whiz through these. So my first honourable mention is from the Polish band Riverside. This is ADHD. Anno Domini High Definition. It is quite an old album of theirs, but it is so heavy. It's absolutely brilliant, and it doesn't really get much notice from people because I suppose it's not one of their sort of the proggy rock ones. So they did a lot of proggy rock stuff. This is more proggy metal, and it's really, really good. Second of my honourable mentions is from Leprous. This is the album Coal, and it has Contaminate Me on it. I mean, this is a great record. This is all. I mean, I could have picked anything from Leprous, but it's absolutely fantastic record. They were much heavier then than they are now. If that kind of makes any sense at all. They are still a heavy band. They're still classed as prog metal, but their music has changed somewhat over the years and has become far more intricate and very sort of very detailed and it's always been interesting. Right, this is another one which is Dordida. I think these are a Romanian band. It's their album Ha. Dordida were a offshoot from what was it? Naguru Bunjet. They were a sort of progressive black metal band, and then it splintered off into different directions. And this is one of the bands that came out of it. It's not one that people talk about very often, but I listened to this a couple of years ago on the channel, and it is a phenomenal record. Absolutely love it to pieces. It's go and watch the video if you don't believe me. This is another one which I really could have made into the top 10. This is Between the Buried and Me, and it's the double album of Automata. So it's Automata 1 and Automata 2 bundled together in a single, well, no, it's a double, into a single package. So incredible band, incredible band, incredible music. They deserve to be mentioned at the very least, but they didn't make my top 10, I'm afraid. And the final one in here of my honourable mentions is another band which was completely new to me because of the channel. This is Elder, Innate Passage. This was just such a phenomenal record. Absolutely beautiful, brilliant, fantastic. Can't speak highly enough of it. I cannot wait to hear more of their music. We've listened to 2 of their albums so far on the channel. I really want more, but they are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So that brings us on to the top 10. And a lot of these, I don't know, these are in order. I've tried to put them in order and I keep shifting the order around. So, oh, no, that's a bit better. So I don't. So I'm going to go in reverse, but it's not. Come tomorrow, this list might be different, or the list will probably be the same, but the order might be different. But I'm going to start off with Fortitude from Gojira. Amazing French band. I'm sure you know already. You could have had any number of records from this band, but I've gone for Fortitude. This is their most recent album, and it's got Another World, Amazonia, Born for One Thing, Fortitude, that chant. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. And oh, man, this for me is the first record of theirs that I heard new. So I'd obviously gone back and listened to a lot of their discography as I was discovering the band, but this is the first one that came out in my when I was conscious of the band. So absolutely, they are going in there. They come in at number 10. Now, number 9. This is a long way down the list. You may think this should be much higher, but there's other stuff. This is Deadwing from Porcupine Tree. So Porcupine Tree obviously had have a huge decade-spanning, genre-spanning career. And their earlier stuff was all manner of psychedelic. You had ambient house music going on in there. You had space rock. There's straight-up prog rock, all manner of stuff. But when they came to In Absentia, Fear of a Blank Planet, and Deadwing, they really, really sort of got into their metal groove. This is just a fantastic record. Could have been any of those three, but this one for me, it has Deadwing, Shallow, Lazarus is a beautiful song, Halo, and Arriving Somewhere But Not Here. Oh, that's almost like the crowning glory of this record. It's just so good. Everything on there is fabulous, and of course, you'd expect it to be. Number 8. This is Wilderun, Veil of Imagination. This came out of nowhere. I had no idea who this band was or anything about them. I think this may possibly be their first release, or certainly their first big release. But The Tyranny of Imagination, the track that I first heard of theirs, is on this album. This is a band that kind of picked up where Opeth left off, when Opeth sort of went more sort of prog rock than metal. And what these guys do is just fantastic. They had another album out after this as well. But this is the one. This is the one for me, because this is the one that I first heard them on. I first discovered them, and I've played so many times. I absolutely love this. It's a great, great record. Highly, highly recommended. Right, okay, so number 7. I'm going with Mastodon, and I'm going to go with this album. This is their most latest record. This is Hushed and Grim. As again, it could have been any number of records. I nearly had Blood Mountain in there. I nearly had Crack the Sky. I mean, it could have been anything. It really could have been. But this is the one in the end that I've settled on. It is just phenomenal. You know Mastodon. You know their sound. You know the band. This is kind of the record they grew to be. They couldn't have made this at an earlier stage in their career, I don't think. And it's just such a grown-up sounding record in many ways, but it hasn't lost any of that fun craziness that Mastodon do that no one else could do. Baroness sound a little bit like Mastodon in places. There are other bands have some of their sound in their stuff, but Mastodon is a totally, completely unique band, and I love them. I love them so much, and this is, for me, is the best of their discography. So, Hushed and Grim from Mastodon. Right, how many is that we're done? We're done 4. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You might think this should be higher up as well, but it's not. This is Lateralis from Tool. We all know it. We all know everything about it. We know the songs. We know the musicians. We know the story of the Fibonacci sequence that feeds into this. We know them as a band. How cool. Not as in sort of trendy cool, but just the music is just sublime. The tribal rhythms, the hypnotic sort of sound that they create, and they meld and they model and they merge around it. And oh man, alive. Maynard's lyrics, the whole thing is just a tour de force of how to make an incredible record. Comes in at number 6. My goodness. So we have 5 records left. These are all records that I listen to more than that. Coming in at number 5. I wish this was higher, but it's not. This is Empath. Devin Townsend. His record that came out just before the pandemic, 2019, I think. It is, I think, the culmination of everything that he had been in his career up to that point. So the record has elements and moments from almost every part of his career, be it Strapping Young Lad, be it Devin Townsend Project, Devin Townsend Band, Devin Townsend, Casualties of Cool. Even there's so much really interesting stuff going on in here. It goes places that no other record has before or since, I think. And of course, it's rounded out by a sidelong 24 minute epic in singularity. Slightly ahead of its time, a song about artificial intelligence. I mean, it is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. One of my favourite all-time records, let alone of prog metal. So where do we go from there to number 4? We're going to go to Dream Theater, and it's not the one you're thinking of. It's Octavarium. This is the record for me that is my Dream Theater record. This is the one I've listened to more times than anything else that they've ever done, over and over and over again. The songwriting on here, the musicianship, obviously, the storytelling, the grooves, the infectious tunes and the melodies. I mean, everything about this is brilliant. And what I find really fun about it is how many callbacks there are on this album to Absolution by Muse. It's really interesting, and I don't know if you ever noticed that, but if you know that album by Muse and then you listen to this is absolutely chock full of Muse riffs and sounds and production techniques and patterns and stuff. And I thought, oh my God, Muse have completely copied Dream Theater. But I find out, in fact, it's the other way around. Dream Theater have openly admitted, Mike Portnoy said, yeah, that Absolution album was everywhere when we were recording this, and we wanted to use some of that influence in our music, and you can hear it. It's absolutely all over this. It's fantastic. I love that record. Absolutely love it. Number 3. Again, I thought this might have been higher, but it's not. It's coming in at number 3. It's Iron Maiden, my all-time favourite band. It's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Their absolute pinnacle concept album. It's proggy. It's in that run of 7 golden records from the 1980s. It's the end of the run, and after this the quality starts to dip a little bit before coming back a bit later on. But oh my word, is this a record of their career, the proggiest record of their career. It is fantastic. Are there better records of theirs that I prefer? There are, of course there are. Killers is probably my all-time favourite Iron Maiden album. Different singer, different lineup, different drummer. Not proggy though. This is a much more scrappy heavy metal. But Number of the Beast, again, fantastic, but not that proggy, just straight sort of new wave British heavy metal sound. This is where they start to get proggy, and it's fantastic. Absolutely love this record. Love it, love it, love it. We have 2 records left. 2. Just 2 records. And I'm shuffling. Which one's it going to be? Oh, man. My number 2 record is The Mountain by Haken. I can't begin to count the amount of times I've heard this record. I've listened to it. I know it note for note, beat for beat. Instantly recognise every single part of it. If I sort of listen to it on my phone or on an iPod, if I'm out for a run or a walk, and it comes and I play it, it is absolutely just astonishingly good. And of course, they have carried on that high watermark. The quality of their musicianship and their writing continues through pretty much all their albums. I could have gone for Aquarius or Visions before this. I could have gone for Affinity. I could have gone for Virus. I could have gone for Fauna. What was the other one? Vector, I think. The one that came anyway after Affinity. I think it was called Vector. Yeah, it's called Vector. I can see it back there. But all of them are brilliant. For me, this one comes in at the top. It's got the Cockroach King on it, which is immediately the most nutty, craziest piece of music I'd heard up to that point. I hadn't heard Gentle Giant, and then I found Gentle Giant, and I know where they're coming from. And Falling Back to Earth, Pareidolia, Atlas Stone, everything on here is sublime. It's heavy, it's proggy, it's interesting, it's light, it's melodic, it's crushingly heavy in places, it's hilariously funny in others, it's quirky, interesting. It is my almost all-time favourite prog metal album. That means there is only one record left. I'm sure you know what it is. I'm sure you know. It is Blackwater Park. Opeth's absolute towering achievement. We had this as album of the month 2 or 3 months ago, and it won with good reason and with many, many votes. It is the moment that heavy, really heavy metal, death metal, crossed over to prog. It had the fingers of Stephen Wilson all over it. He produced it. He sung bits of it. He played guitar on some of it. He helped with the arrangements. Everything about this is what you need. It is the perfect progressive metal album. The vocals are exactly what they need to be. It divides people, but you want a heavy album, you want heavy vocals. You want a light album, you get light vocals. You get the mixture of the both on here. Michael Ackerfeld's singing and delivery is absolutely unique. His tone of his voice is phenomenal. The other guys in the band, the drumming, the guitars, the bass, it is just sublime. It is absolutely sublime. I can put this on at any time, any moment, listen to any part of it, and close my eyes and be transported away. It's heavy as hell. Of course it is. And it's progressive as anything. And it is the absolute ultimate progressive metal album. One day it might be unseated, but I don't know when that will come and who will do it. But it'd have to be something very, very special. But there we go. That is my top 10 prog metal albums Scott, I hope you've enjoyed that and that it would have been a worthy addition to your live chat that I was not invited to. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. Of course, I know it's we're going to do stuff again in the future, but I really, really, really wanted to make a little response to that. Say, I've got some ideas as well. So there they are. I'll see you all on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. Until then, this is Jim. Over